Huh? NANI?
Other countries, I guess. You want to do that? Why not? Good question.
I'd go see the whole country.
Or travel to another country.
Alright y'all, it's important to calm down because nothing has been confirmed. But if you watch the whole video, I'm gonna showcase why me and some others in the community thinks that the Last of Us 3's location has potentially been teased right in front of our eyes this whole time. We're gonna go over a lot of things, a lot of details in this video, so before you talk any shit, do listen to everything I'm gonna mention and go over to understand this potential tease. Previous foreshadowing, Neil Druckmann's statements, how The Last of Us 2 was potentially teased in a similar way. All sources are down below in the description. Alright, first off, credits where credits due. Thank you to Reddit user Misha Lives for seemingly being the first person to notice this. It's one thing if people find out about this from me and don't give credit, but if they don't credit Misha Lives, they're straight up hoes. Now, what did Misha Lives find? What is it? What's the big... You saw it at the beginning opening seconds, but basically, you can come across a world map when playing as Abby in the Scar Camp. Right here, which I'm showing you right now. Boom. And on this map is 3 marked locations. 1 around the East Coast near Boston, where we've been in part 1. 1 around the West Coast near Seattle, where we've been in part 2. And a 3rd one around Europe, close to Belgium, where the European Union headquarters are.
How do we not find these?
Wolves never look up.
Wolves never look up. Funny how majority of people didn't notice this, didn't look up when playing as a wolf, playing as Abby, and yeah, well, just ironic. Anyway, what a coincidence that 2 of these marked locations are near areas that we've been in part 1 and part 2. And what a coincidence that when playing as both Ellie and Abby, you can unlock dialogue with Dina and Lev, talking about other countries outside of the US. When playing as Ellie on patrol, if you loot this area right here, this dialogue unlocks.
What do you know about this place?
Just another evacuated neighborhood. Infected almost never make it out this far. We usually catch them on the outer perimeter.
These trailers are neat. Nice little portable home.
You think people really traveled a lot in these things?
Oh, wouldn't you?
I mean, if I'd lived pre-outbreak, yeah, I'd go see the whole country.
Or travel to another country.
Maybe one day we will.
Keep dreaming.
Jesse talked a lot about going to Canada. He said there's these, like, giant waterfalls out there he wanted to see.
Really? He's such a hardcore Jackson guy.
Everybody's got their dream.
When playing as Abby, looking for the fireflies, if you take too long, this dialogue unlocks.
24:17. Getting warmer.
Oh, I hope not. I'm sweating already.
You're such a goober.
What?
Nothing.
What if we don't find them here?
Assuming all the leads dry up, what would you like to do?
I don't know. Leave this place?
Okay. And where would we go?
West. See what's out there.
It's nothing but ocean.
And past it?
Other countries, I guess. You want to do that?
Why not?
Good question.
Woo! Okay, let's calm down, alright? We're not done. Let's go over arguments and Neil Druckmann's statements that couldn't be used against, potential part 3 going outside Europe, stuff like that, and how part 2 could have been teased in a similar way in Uncharted 4. So an argument against this is that it's too obvious and that Naughty Dog would want to subvert expectations, and they wouldn't spell like it's just spelled out. It's like they're teasing it too much, they're foreshadowing it too much. So because of that, it probably wouldn't happen because they're trying to subvert expectations. Joel's death. It was predictable to many people ever since the 2016 reveal trailer. Due to the symbolism of that trailer, many people predicted that Joel would die and thought that maybe he could be a ghost because he didn't have, you know, bloodstains on him. There was a bunch of theories surrounding that, to where, you know, Neil even got asked on a panel.
Joel, alive or dead?
It depends at which point. Everybody dies at some point.
Wow. Hey, guys! Quick reminder of mortality, just in case you haven't thought about the void.
The thing with, like, it's so interesting. Like, we always want to go into our games and people know that there's stakes. There's real stakes. And with The Last of Us, no one is safe. And we wanted people to go into The Last of Us Part 2, especially with this theme, and what we're trying to say with this game is knowing that no one is safe, not even these two. And it's funny, like working on Uncharted 4, we really wanted to raise the stakes as well, but that game is much more lighthearted. So
Wait, what?
We had to call it a thief's end and do all these crazy trails to get people to think, like, is it possible for Nathan Drake to die in this game? And with this, we released one trailer, Joel walks through a door and it's like, oh my god, is Joel a ghost? Is he dead?
Joel's death was pretty predictable to many people in the community, and they still did it. Naughty Dog still did it. They did not subvert expectations there because that's the story they wanted to tell. For me, only expectations that was subverted was playing as Abby for half of the game. You even see Ellie carrying Joel's gun in a 2019 trailer, which came out way before any of the leaks, and due to this, many people also thought, damn, Ellie has Joel's gun, bada bada boom. So even though Naughty Dog did a model swap for a trailer, swapping Jesse and Joel to be slick, they weren't really that slick. They could have been way slicker. They could have gone easier on the symbolism in the reveal trailer, and they could have swapped Joel's gun in the release date trailer. Anyway, my point is, many people predicted Joel's death before even the leaks were a thing, and they still went through with it. And boom, there's also the obvious foreshadowing. Well, it's not obvious the first time you play because you're caught up in the, what just happened, Seattle Day 1. But they foreshadowed the farm when playing as Ellie, Seattle Day 1, when Dina says this.
How you doing back there? Getting homesick?
A little bit. You?
Same. Miss having a roof over my head.
You know, I've always dreamed of fixing up a farm just outside of Jackson.
Why wouldn't you stay in town?
I don't know. I like the idea of real space.
Sounds lonely.
Only if you're doing it alone.
Okay. So are we gonna, like, raise sheep and milk cows?
Are you making fun of me?
No. It actually sounds kinda nice.
Really?
Yeah. Really.
The farm was teased in a more obvious way than this map location is potentially teasing a Europe location, right? And they still went through with the farm as they did with Joel's death still. Now let's go over a statement from Neil Druckmann that at first glance can be used as an argument against a Europe location and going outside the US or whatever. This is from an interview Neil did with GQ, and as always, all sources linked down below. For Druckmann, he's faced years of doubt for even thinking a sequel was worthwhile. The first game is so sacred, the ending is so sacred, he says. People are always like, do another one, but focus on all new characters, or like, do it in Europe, do it in Japan, do something really different. But in the end, he felt like diverging from Joel and Ellie's story was the coward's ways out. To me, at that point, you might as well just do a new IP, he continues, versus saying, no, we're gonna double down and we're gonna expose what this ending means, to take some of the things that people hold sacred and just dismantle it. So, take a closer look at this article. Neil mentions that people have told him to, do it in Europe, do it in Japan. But this is in the context of diverging from Joel and Ellie's story. He says that that is the coward's ways out. Not doing it in other locations, but diverging from Ellie and Joel's story. He said, multiple times that Last of Us is always going to be about Ellie and Joel. It's their story. He even said that in the panel.
And we I've played with so many of the ideas that had different characters and it never felt right. The Last of Us is about these two characters specifically.
You can still have Ellie's story in different locations. If they're planning on Europe, then I have faith that they can pull it off some way, somehow. It's boats, vehicles, who knows, maybe even, what? We're gonna get it, yes. More on that later. Another statement from Neil Druckmann that can be used against a part 3 as of now is this.
What's your interpretation, or what did you mean by her walking off into the woods and kind of leaving her past behind? Yeah, I guess that sets up questions for sequels, but just let us know what was in your head.
Just to respond to the sequel thing, I've seen, for both games, people say it ends on a cliffhanger, and I guess to that I could just say I disagree. At least that's never been the intention, because I hate cliffhangers because you never know if you'll be able to come back to something. Like Last of Us was the first game I was the creative director on, and I was like, maybe I'm going to suck so badly I will never have this chance again. So this thing has to be able to stand on its own, and if I never get to make another statement about this, I'll be proud of it and just kind of look at it and not feel like, oh man, I didn't get to tell the trilogy I wanted to tell or something like that. And likewise with this game, it's like it took so much effort to reach this idea and this theme and what we're trying to say. It's kind of the same thing. I don't know if we'll ever come back to this, so this has to be a good ending on its own.
I'm not saying that me and all the people who upvoted this post on Reddit thinks that this location is confirmed or that part 3 is confirmed to be in development. Not at all. What I am saying though is that Neil Druckmann is a liar in a good way. Now, Neil Druckmann has misled people plenty of times in the past. So, let's take a look at a blast from the past.
We couldn't talk about it. In fact, in interviews we've been lying about it, saying you never play as Ellie because it was so important for that to be a surprise. Sorry, journalist.
Oh my god! Wow! You think I let you do this?
Yeah, if the first game was really like the core of it, the theme was about the love between these two characters, this story is the counter of that. This story is about hate.
Part 2 didn't really turn out to be a game about hate. It turned out to be a game about love overcoming hate. Part 2 had parts that diverged from Ellie's and Joel's story. Sure, Abby is directly related to Joel and Ellie's story, but we did get parts of Abby's own story. And for me, those parts made Abby's part way better. I mean, particularly Aaand Liv. He could possibly still be unsure whether he wants to do a part 3 or not, or he could be misleading. None of these people involved with the game that know about the game, they can't really talk about the game until we have a big, reveal trailer, big announcement, a big reveal like that. NDAs, stuff like that. Well, unless you're Nolan North, of course.
Do you have any more projects with Naughty Dog, or is this the last one for now?
For now, last one. I know they're doing Last of Us 2.
Sure, it is very hard, in my opinion, and many others due to the history, to see is he, you know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying. Anyway, let's talk about the Uncharted 4 Easter egg and how part 2 could have possibly been teased in Uncharted 4, similar to how this thing could be. You know what I mean. Spoiler warning for Uncharted 4. This takes place near the end of the game, and there's a detail here that if you haven't played the Uncharted series, you might not want to see. But hey, you do you. If you haven't played the Uncharted series and you still want to have I'm still gonna give a 3-second countdown. Again, spoiler warning for Uncharted 4. 3, 2, 1. So when playing as Cassie at the end of the game, you can find a Last of Us poster in her room titled The Last of Us American Daughters. This poster has a character that looks very similar to Ellie, or even what some people thought that it could be her mom. This poster before part 2 came out led to many theories like, oh, this is obviously Anna, and that Abby is Anna, or shit, is Ellie pregnant? Is Ellie losing her immunity? What the fuck is going on? So Neil Druckmann recently addressed this poster.
For Neil, at the end of Uncharted 4, there is a Last of Us poster with a pregnant woman. Is this a comic series we're going to get, or is this a long game of misdirection to make people think Abby was Anna?
At this point, I don't remember if it was intentional or not, but I loved that for a while, and I wish we were able to keep it going all the way to the end. People thought Abby was Anna. But that comic book is not Abby or anybody from this story.
Not anyone from this story, so it seems that this is not Anna or Ellie, according to Neil. But again, he could be misleading us. So this could low-key be like a mashup of different story elements from part 2, because this person right here looks very similar to Ellie in her Seattle Day 1 outfit. Joel's gun, similar to Joel's gun. Brown hair, green eyes, doom. So they could have taken all them story elements and taken Dina's story element of being pregnant and just mashed that up as a subliminal tease or with a subtle tease for part 2. This comment by a social warrior on a discussion about this poster shows how some people, Loki me included, have interpreted this poster after what Neil said. Either Neil Loki kinda lied and it is Anna, or it's a mashup tease for part 2. But Neil also says, I hope you get to tell that story when talking about that character. So maybe it is a new character.
I hope one day we get to tell that story. We'll see.
But he also says he don't remember if they were trying to mislead people into thinking that Abby was Anna.
At this point, I don't remember if it was intentional or not. But I loved that for a while, and I wish we were able to keep it going all the way to the end. People thought Abby was Anna.
But you know, if you remember the censored tweet, this is a tweet Naughty Dog put up. Censored for censored letters. Ooh, reverse psychology, figured about Anna, I don't know about that. Seems like Neil low-key got a bad memory, you know what I'm saying? But hey, Neil has said that he didn't want to cast Laura Bailey as Abby at first, but according to Laura, things went a little bit different.
For your process, you know, you go out, you audition, Neil Druckmann's like, I don't want Laura Bailey. Then he's like, fine, I want Laura Bailey. What is the...
You know what gets me? And this is gonna, like, Neil. He talked to me about coming onto the game back when we did, like, Left Behind.
Bruh.
And then he changed his mind, and he acted like he forgot that he even talked to me about being Abby. Because now I know, watching your show, it's because he decided he didn't want to cast me anymore.
Yep, exactly, right.
Punk.
So hey, could be bad memory, could be misleading, you never know, You could have forgot that this poster was just originally a, you know, a mashup tease for part 2, or we might have a brand new character that's a low-key clone of Ellie, Seattle Day 1. Or it could be Anna, and he's like, hey. So I presented many details now as to why me and others in the community think that this map you find playing as Abby could potentially be teasing, you know, Europe location, you know, in part 3, and I've gone over the arguments, but let's just summarize real quick, because there was a lot of mumbo jumbo. Let's condense that. We've been around 2 of these marked locations. When playing as both Ellie and Abby, you can unlock dialogue about other countries. Joel's death was predictable to many, but it still happened. The farm in part 2 was teased early in the game, and it was teased in a more obvious way than, you know, the and it still happened. Neil has misled in the past, and we won't really know if he's interested in making a part 3 or if it's in development until it gets a big official announcement, like a reveal trailer, most likely, which is ways off. Like, we probably won't know anything for certain about part 3 in the next 5 years even. The Last of Us Part 2 was low-key teased in a similar way in Uncharted 4. But we can't really know for sure. What I do know is that The Last of Us 3 is not coming out anytime soon. Naughty Dog is rumored to be currently working on a steampunk game. So if we ever were to get a part 3, my guess is that part 3, if it ever were to happen, is gonna come out at the end of the PS5 life cycle, similar to, you know, part 1 and part 2, how it came out at the end of those life cycles. But what we do have here is a potential tease for a Europe location that could play a potential part in the Last of Us universe. Now, how the hell would Ellie and Abby get to Europe, and why the hell would any one of them want to go to Europe? Well, you're just gonna have to stay tuned for my theory videos, cause I subscribe if you haven't already, enable all notifications, news, info, theories, updates, discussion, all of that you can find on this channel. Thank you for watching the video. Comment your thoughts and discuss with each other down below. I reply and read to almost all. Like, share, do whatever you want to do, and I'll see you when I see you.